Salvete amici. Here's a recap of what we did in class today, February 8th. The first thing we did, is we went over the charts, and here they are. We went over colonos, canis, and litus. Make sure you know now all 5 cases, including the dative, and make sure you know that the dative case is translated as to or for. Cani, to the dog. Litori, to the shore, for the shore. Okay, so just review all these. Make sure you know all 7 noun charts really well, all 5 cases, singular and plural. The next thing is I put up the answers for the exercises that you did last time, which were 11.1 and 11.2. So here they are, and you can pause this video and make sure that you have all the answers correct from last time. For instance, number 3, make sure you saw that rex was third declension and that the stem changed. Rex regis, therefore dative regi. And of course ask me if any of these answers don't make sense, or if you have any questions rather. And then for exercise 11.2, I would really prefer that you go with the answers in bold, which is closer to the Latin syntax. Give the dinner to me. The directions, in fact, said to say it both ways. I say, for now, stick with these answers in bold, since it's closer to the Latin. Make sure you see, for instance, omnia is all. That caused people some problems. Arma means arms or weapons or armor. To him, AE. We learned that as a vocabulary item. I asked you to write that in your book. And I think that was it. So pause the video, make sure your answers are correct. Okay, and then we did 11.3 in your notebooks, in your exercise notebook. So here I put this following help up, simply just showing you which word is the reminding you which word is the subject, which word is the object, which means it should be accusative case, right? And then which word is the indirect object, which means it should be dative, to the horses. And let me just remind you that when I put a dash between the words, it is one word in Latin, equis. So you should be able to do these more or less perfectly with this help. Your main job, once you decide it's indirect object, you want dative, is figure out what kind of noun you have. For instance, equus in number 1. Is it like puella? Is it like colonus? Is it like canis? Obviously, equus is like colonus. So the dative plural of colonus is colonis, right? Therefore, your answer in that one is equis. So you should be able to do these. You can email me for the answers when you're done. Pause the video and make sure you have all of this help. Okay, and last but not least, there's a tiny bit more grammar to go over in chapter 11. I can do that now very quickly. And that is the following. The dative, as we've been discussing, is often translated as to, as in Quintus is giving flowers, puellis, to the girls. But there are some exceptions to this. The first broad exception is verbs that we would expect from what we learned so far, these verbs to take an accusative. I love you, that would be accusative. I kick you, that would be accusative. But I resist to you. Now, it could be that maybe we're mistranslating it, and we should say something like, I offer resistance to you, and then you'll understand why it's dative. But let's not do that. Let's say I resist you, and instead of the expected accusative, we get a dative case. Same thing for I persuade you. Same thing for I command my comrades. Literally, I give commands to my comrades. It is pleasing to me. That actually kind of works in English. So some verbs, instead of the accusative we might expect, we get a dative. Same is true with verbs that have motion inside of them, like I approach to you, dative. And these tibbies, you'll remember I asked you to write this in the book, so you should know tibby is dative. Te is accusative, I love you. Tibby, I'm giving flowers to you. But anyway, verbs of motion, instead of maybe the expected accusative, I approach you, you get I approach to you. I run to help you, literally to you. I meet you. Maybe if we translate it more literally, it'll be easier. I run into you. I meet you. So again, for number one, all of these are verbs that take a dative where we might have expected an accusative from what we learned so far. Okay, number two is a secondary meaning, a secondary way to translate dative rather, and that is for. So the woman is preparing dinner for the children. The name for me is Quintus. Oh, the name to me actually works too, doesn't it? It is an intention for me. So sometimes for, particularly that first one is the most kind of idiomatically English sentence. The woman prepares dinner for the children. So keep that one in your pocket. It's not always to, like Quintus is giving flowers to the children. Sometimes it's for. And I think that's it. Now, the last thing is I gave the students about 10 minutes to start their homework, which is Aeneas tells of the fall of Troy. You should write that in your summative translation notebook. Be careful. Pay attention to cases. There are some tricky things like stat ingens equus. Ingens equus, that's somewhere toward in the middle of the first paragraph, is nominative, making it the subject. So pay close attention to cases as you're translating. Also, while you're translating the Latin, be sure to read the Latin out loud before you translate it. And that is it.